I just want to be able to have that freedom of Ricochet to just really soar like I know he can.
I get the sense that you're in a good mood. I can see the smile. So let's just dive into it because there's so much to talk about. I feel like people have really been waiting for this moment. Um, Welcome to AEW. I was just watching the Kyle Fletcher match this morning, and there's one spot that really stuck out to me. And it wasn't a move, it was your attitude. It was after you hit that Meteora off the barricade, and you hit the camera with a nice quartet of crotch chops. I feel like it was like a bit of an edge to your character that we haven't seen much, or seen as often, or as like direct. Is there something about your character that you're kind of hoping to flesh out here as you sort of made this jump to AEW?
What you're talking about specifically was kind of a spur. It wasn't like a pre-planned thing. I hit it and I rolled through, and I just saw the camera guy. I was gonna do guns, but I was like, that's kind of lame. I don't know. It was kind of a spur of the moment. It just kind of happened. So if I can, I don't know if little things like that can continue to make people smile or laugh or just whatever I do to continue that to make people feel something, then that's awesome. That's what I want.
Post match, you had an encounter that was cut short with your old sparring mate, Will Ospreay. I had talked to Will in advance of the pay per view prior to All In. Like I said, I need a cup of coffee right now. And both in that interview and in a lot of the interviews leading into it, he's been a very vocal, staunch supporter and proponent of Ricochet. What did it mean to you to see him talking about you so highly, even at a time where you guys were in different major promotions?
I mean, he and I have always been pretty close. I mean, even from the first time that we even met each other and worked with each other, I think we just clicked and we're just really good friends. And so I don't think that's ever changed, no matter where either one of us was at. So that's always been cool. But to see him so verbally like advocate for me is awesome. And again, I think because for a long time, Ricochet hasn't really had the opportunity to advocate for
Mm.
himself. So I think it's cool it was really cool to have my homie do that for me. But he's always been a super nice guy and super supportive and likewise. So I don't think that it's ever gonna change.
I love that, I'll jump ahead a bit in these questions because you brought up the like self-advocation. What was it about your WWE experience at the end there when you were sort of at that decision-making moment where you said, maybe what was it that you weren't getting out of your WWE experience that sort of drew you to AEW?
I don't know if it was what I because again, my whole career I've always had fun. Had I found the best in everything that I've ever done. And there's never been a time of my career where I have, I don't know, been sad. I don't know. But I think it was being able to have the opportunity to give again the fans of Ricochet who the fans who've been missing. And again, I Ricochet was used a lot on television. I was on a lot, whether it was, a match on Raw or main event or SmackDown
You were the
or
Intercontinental
what have
Champion the
you.
last time we spoke.
So I was on a lot, but I feel like the quality of how much I was on television wasn't there for my fans. Again, for me, I'm able to perform and able to do something that I love, so I'm getting, but I wasn't able to give my fans what they've been wanting out of me. And whether or not that's and I don't know exactly what that was, but I just know from my fans they were wanting something. And I think that's what was missing for me. And I know this is the perfect place to be able to give my fans exactly the Ricochet that they've been looking for.
What is it that gives you the confidence that AEW is going to sort of offer up to Ricochet exactly what he needs to give back to the fans in the way that he wants to?
I think it's already been shown through all the other characters and personalities that's gotten to portray their character in the way that they've been wanting to do it, and it's they get the when they get an opportunity to portray something to their specific fans, they get to do it the way that they think would be best.
Mm-hmm.
whether that's, an Ospreay or that's a Bryan Danielson or a Swerve or a Jamie Hayter or when they get an opportunity, they get to do it the way they feel is best for their fans. And I think here in WB they have a plan and they stick to the plan and they get to that plan that they've whether however that is, they've got it, and that's what you got to stick to, good, bad, or ugly. You know, so I just want to be able to have that freedom of Ricochet to just really soar like I know he can.
I love that. Other than Osprey, was there anyone sort of behind the scenes that you were able to sort of get some advice or feedback from when making this transition? Have you seen Chucky T since you dropped by AEW?
I have seen Chuck E. T. I have seen Chuck E. T. We actually just it's funny enough, our flight to Champaign uh due to weather issues was like delayed and delayed and delayed and canceled. So we had to like drive. So like I haven't seen Chuck E. T. in years. And the last time that we were together, we were driving around America wrestling.
That's amazing.
So it's just funny all these years later, like my first time back and with them, like due to weather, like we're sitting here driving at 1 in the morning because or to go to the wrestling show. So that was already so cool. And you know what I mean? Like just seeing a lot of the people that I've known for literally years. Everyone's asking about my son because my son's like 15 now and they've known him since he was born. So they're like, oh my God. So it's so cool. It's like the connections are still right there.
Was there anyone other than Will that you got up, or even, I don't even know if you did talk to Will? Who behind the scenes did you kind of put out feelers to, just to get a sense of this big decision that you're
Honestly,
making?
I didn't even really I didn't. I kind of kept
You know,
I always talk to the guys. Me and Will always talk. I've talked to Matt Seidel. I talk not even about wrestling, but we just always keep in touch. You know what I mean? And honestly, not until I like made the decision. Honestly, I talked with my fiance about it. To be honest with you, that's who I talked about it with. And then not until I made the decision, and it's like later on did I really start to inquire about what it was like. But it's funny because yeah, I wanted to make sure I was making this decision first and then see how people thought about how they felt there. So that's funny that you asked because that's kind of cool. I just wanted to make sure like this is on me. This is my choice. No one's like leaning me one way or the other. Like it's all for me.
do you remember? Do you remember that moment where you're like, yes, this is the move?
No,
So I'm grilling you here. There's so much to
no, no,
talk
no. It's
about.
good. It was a feeling. It was a feeling that I wanted to like who like was gonna make what place was gonna again ignite again that fire was there that fire was kindling. It's always been there that love for professional wrestling, that love for the sport. I just like it's like my gas can was empty. The fire was still there, but there needed to be some gas thrown on it just to ignite it up
Yeah.
again and get it really started. And that's what I wanted. Like where's going to make me feel that the most? And I know for a fact AEW is going to relight that fire under me, and it's going to allow me to just again give my Ricochet fans the the content that they want from their one of their favorite superstars or wrestlers. You know what I mean?
The last time the WWE, as we start to transition out of WWE stuff, the last time we did see you on television was that segment with Bron Breakker. And at the time, I had sort of read stuff about, will this lead to a match with Braun? Is this a way to write Ricochet off of TV while he decides? Can you give a little bit of insight into like what the primary purpose of that segment was when it was
Yeah, no, I
executed?
think literally exactly what you just said. I think because again, they didn't know if I was going to resign. They didn't know what I was thinking, and I didn't even really know because I was still trying to make the decision. I think they was trying to leave it open ended just in case I did. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I really do believe that. Um, but I think I had already made my decision before that even. But I think for them, they were just trying to maybe leave it open ended. But I feel like even before that, I had already made my decision. I just again seeing all the people here and seeing the build up to all in just everything like I feel like AEW is putting out really good
For
stuff
the
and all
pay
the
per
guys
view,
are
yeah.
and girls are doing awesome. So and it's just getting better and better every single time. So if we can just keep building on that, like and I wanted to be the part of to keep building on that. You know what I mean? So because they're doing something new and different, so I think it's really cool.
So I didn't even put two and two together until I went to watch back our 2022 interview this morning, and I asked you at the time, other than Ricochet, who's the best active high flyer in pro wrestling right now? And you said Pac. So I love that we got that little teaser at the first in your first
That's what
Dynamite
I was
with
gonna.
that.
That's
So
what people were like. Will Ospreay came out and it got cut short. I was like by literally the guy. So because before it was Ricochet and Ospreay, it was like Ricochet and Pac that was like lighting up the internet. You know what I mean? And he's another guy that I've always thought was one of the best. And obviously that rivalry between him and I is still there. I don't think that's ever going to go away. He's literally one of the best to do it, and people understand that. And now it's Ricochet's chance to show that he's one of the best to do it as well.
as we and that's we're going to circle back to exactly that right as we finish the last question. I do want to get to a couple fan stuff. I always put out a fan Q&A first. You know, the
See?
fans, they like to really sort of read between the lines here, so I'd love for you to put
Always.
some context into it. One thing that was brought up was a promo that you had with Drew McIntyre. I think Baron Corbin was in the ring, where Drew, he's a very rude man on TV, but he
Yeah.
rudely cut you off and told you then shut up. People were wondering, like, was that impromptu? Was that planned? How did you feel about it?
That is just impromptu. I mean, I think that's I think also actually no, I think that's what they were gonna I think that's what it was planned. I think because that was like 2019 or 20, so that's so
The
long
things
ago.
people bring up
But
will blow my
honestly,
mind.
I think it was planned. I think it was planned. Uh, and I don't know whose idea it was. I don't know who was the writers back then. I didn't even really pay attention back then. Um, but I mean, for me, it's whatever because again, I'm the best wrestler standing in this ring, so you can go ahead and say what you want. It's
I
fine.
like that.
You go
I
ahead
like
because
that.
that's how people like you because you say the cool stuff. But when it comes to the wrestling, that's why they like me because I'm better than all of you. You know what I mean? So go ahead and say your cool stuff because that's the only reason people are gonna like you. You know what I mean?
I like that energy, Ricochet.
So it's fine. It's fine for me.
Hey, you are known to do some, I mean, outlandish, tremendous athletic feats. Is there a move or a spot that comes to mind where either in real time or right after you're like, what the hell was I thinking? I probably shouldn't do that again.
Uh, Really, the only thing that I said I'm never doing that again was like when me and Johnny Mundo went off the top of the thing through the tables and we just hit ground. I was like, yeah, whoa, no, what the heck was I thinking? Why'd I do that? I was like, "Ugh." It only lasts for like a couple seconds, maybe like 10, 15 seconds of going, but then after that, you're good. But,
10, 15
but
seconds of agony is not a short amount of time, dude.
yeah, I was like, that's one thing I was like, why did I do that? Because I mean, everything else I feel like was fine. I'm sure there's been some dives off the top where I've hit the ground where no one's caught me or something, but when me and Mundo went through those tables, because they made them even thinner because they removed all the brackets under them because
Why?
they didn't think that they were going to break. They were like, we don't think they're going to
What do you mean?
break.
It's two people and it's such. Okay, sorry.
We had this me and Mundo both. Anyways, so it was like a hot knife through butter. We just went through the tables and hit the ground. I said, this, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that.
One of my all-time favorite moves is probably AJ style Spiral Tap. Is there any moves in your repertoire that you either have or you think in the near future you might have to sort of scale back on that might not be sort of worth the payoff?
Uh, no, again,
No
I've done
turntables.
everything.
Okay.
The 630, I did a springboard 450 across the whole thing onto the guard, like the announcer table, like maybe the double moonsault only just because I'm getting older and bigger. And honestly, I feel like if I went and practiced it, I really probably could still do it. It's one of those where I just don't feel the need to anymore. Especially there's kids out there who can probably do it now. Let them do it. But again, no, most of the stuff I still do. I still at least like when the time is right. When the time is right, I'm going to hit a 630 if I need to, or a shooting star press, or a springboard corkscrew to the out. I feel like. even in the WWE, like I was still doing crazy stuff.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I just the stuff wasn't leading to victory, so I was still getting beat. So other than maybe the double moonsault, I still feel like everything in my arsenal is still there. And it's just a matter of when to pull it out.
Just gonna say undefeated in singles competition in AEW so far. So the moves are working now.
Let's go.
There we go.
Undefeated so far.
Ricochet, I want to end on this note, and we'll talk a lot more anime and video
I'm
games.
basically Goldberg of AEW right
Sorry?
now. I'm basically the Goldberg of AEW right now.
I mean,
Undefeated.
yeah, yeah, you're undefeated. By the way, I like the black and gold. It's like my favorite color palette. So shout out to the AEW collab.
Yes.
I gotta let you go here, so I want to leave you with this. We'll talk more anime, more wrestling, all that sort of stuff next time.
Of course.
Um, what more than anything does Ricochet want to accomplish now that he's all elite?
Inspiration. That's been my main thing from the get-go is to inspire people, and again, whether that's inspire people to be wrestlers or inspire people to go to school, whatever it is, like I want to inspire. I want to be able, and now I have the opportunity and the platform to be, I don't want to say taken more seriously or whatever it is that how you want to say it. Now I have the opportunity and platform to, when I say something, the words will mean more, the words will hit harder. You know what I mean? So if I can inspire somebody to do something, that's what I want to do. That's always been my number one goal.